So now that the setup's done, we're going to actually create the recipient created tax invoice. This is the ongoing process that you will do on a regular basis. Just remembering that we're going to use a purchase order to make that purchase order look like a recipient created tax invoice. And that's how we actually produce the document. So it's actually a purchase order, and we're going to use that theme that we've set up to make it appear like a recipient created tax invoice. It will have all the correct fields on it and be quite compliant. We go into business, we go into purchase orders. We're going to add a new purchase order, and we're going to send that to ABC Contractor, which is the one that I've set up. I'm making the delivery date the same, and the reference should be something that means something to you. To me, it's the week ending, services for a week ending. And this is really important in the theme. We need to pick up that recipient created tax invoice theme that we created before. So pick that up, and that will put everything in the right spot. We're going to sell an item, which is going to be contracting services. And don't forget to put the amount in, 2,600. And because we've set up the item previously, it's picking up the correct account code and the correct GST code. So we're going to approve that. And now what we'll do is print it. You've actually produced the invoice now. We're going to print it just so that I can show you what that looks like. It's sent that to my downloads, and here it is. So it's not super pretty, but it is very efficient. It has the contractor details here, and it has your company details here. Of course, I've produced this one from the demo company, but your details will be here. Now we'll go back to this. You can now send it from here, and you can see it's pre-filled the invoice. You can change the wording of this email, or you can go into settings and change the actual template for the email as well, and you can send that. I'm in the demo, so I won't send that. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to send it over to a bill. I like to use options and copy to. I'm going to copy it to a bill. Mark this purchase order as fully billed, and I'm going to create a draft, and that will send it over to bills. And this is the section now that makes it really easy for me to pay this. So you can see it's sent me into bills now. I've got a new bill, so I'm going to approve that bill. It wants a due date, so I'm going to need to put the due date back in and approve it. There we go. So the bill's approved. So next we'll go over to pay that bill, and there's a great way to pay quite a few together. So we'll go business and pay bills. We're looking for awaiting payment, and here's the bill that we just put into the system. There's $2,600 on the 4th of October, so we want to pay that. We might also want to pay some others. We might want to pay Heritage and Capital. You could have quite a few, and this is a really time-saving thing to do. So now we're going to make payment. And you'll need to nominate your bank account. So if you have 2 or 3 bank accounts or more, the system will ask you. Alternatively, if you just have the one, it will just have one sitting here. And what we're going to do is create a batch payment. You'll need to contact your bank and work out how they process batch payments. But then we're creating a batch payment. What this is doing is creating a file that you're going to upload to your internet banking. And here we are. So you can see that ABC Contractor has those details that I entered into the setup for ABC Contractor. And Capital had its all entered as well. Heritage didn't, so I'm going to need to add something there so that that actually gets paid. We need to be a little bit careful about this as well. The payee reference, this is the reference that's going to go over to the system when your supplier receives the payment. So it might need to mean something to them. So this is quite useful if it says week ending and it can see that it came from you. You can continue to the payment summary, and you can finish and view the batch. Now what we're going to do here is export the batch file, and that produces this error because it's a demo company, it's not real. If you do get this error, just have a look and see. There might be some missing details, so you can go back and complete it, but the reason this particular one is erroring is because it's not real bank accounts, and it's just a dummy. Essentially, the system will produce a file, and then you will upload that file into your internet banking. So you will need to check out with your own bank how they go about doing batch payments. So the other thing you can do is actually send a remittance. There's probably not a lot of need to do that. You've sent the invoice and you're making the payment. So I think most of your suppliers will understand that those two things go together. The thing is, when that payment goes through your bank account, it will come through as an item to be reconciled. So you'll go into the reconciliation. Now, of course, it hasn't come through. It's not a real file, but you'll see it here as a payment, and Xero will suggest, it remembers the batch, and it will suggest that you match it up with these items. So it'll have a find and match, and when you look at it, it will actually have the list, and it should be the right list. And normally it is the right list, unless, of course, you've matched something in that list previously incorrectly. So just leave it. It'll happen the next day, and you'll be able to just OK, and that will all match up. Some banks allow you to post each item in the batch as a separate payment on your bank statement, and of course that will feed across to Xero, and some people find that easy, but the way we found it is we found that batch system works really well. So if it comes across as one item, Xero's doing a great job of keeping that all together for you. So I hope that helps.